Hey everyone, thank you for taking a few minutes to watch this video. What an incredible year in the Dominican Republic, an incredible year in Costa Rica, an incredible year with SCORE International. From taking some athletes that are a bunch of non-believers from the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford to teaching on the our gap year retreat that I was able to attend with our college students and teaching spiritual formation and personal intimacy with God and Christ-like relationships and understanding their giftedness. Spending 4 or 5 days with them, going on a trip, our first police officers trip to be able to work with police departments in the Dominican Republic, and medical trips where we're going into hospitals and into doing clinics and all sorts of different kinds of trips that are catalyzing people towards the gospel, using the giftedness that God has given them. And that warmed my heart in such an amazing way. I have such incredible relationships that God has given me because of the work of SCORE International. And that really is in two different places. There's sort of in the Dominican Republic or in Costa Rica with our missionaries on the ground, where I'm able to liaise between them, network with them. They have become family over the last several years, and I'm so grateful to be able to do that. I get to support some of them in prayer and finances from the giving some of you guys give me. I'm able to help support them because they're not able to raise support as easily as I am. But then also, for our short-term teams that are traveling, our surgeons and our doctors and our police officers and our college athletes and our students and all of these different people, short-term missions helps catalyze them towards gospel saturation in their own domain of influence. And that's what I love the most. I want people to be able to use however God has gifted them towards kingdom usage, and often a short-term missions trip, isn't the end-all and be-all. It's not the trip itself, but that is a catalyzing moment. That might be a catalyzing week for a young adult or for a doctor or a nurse or whoever it happens to be able to understand that they can use their giftedness, whether it's law enforcement or something else, a teacher. They can use their giftedness in their domain of influence far greater than they originally thought. And going to the DR and some of these countries that we get to go to, that I get to take them on, helps that. It's not so much the week. The week is incredible. The week that I get to go every 4 to 5 weeks down to the DR and some to Costa Rica, we are able to really, really do amazing things. And I'm so grateful for those tangible and practical results. But I love what God has given me in the place that He has given me. And that is my neighbors and my region, my city. And to be able to see that I can take and help a bunch of police officers work with some Dominican police officers, but in the midst of that be like, you know what? There are guys in my department that need Jesus. They need to hear the gospel. And it's a catalyzing moment, not only from the training they can offer Dominican police officers and building relationships with those departments, but also what they can bring home to the departments here in the Buffalo and Western New York area and some of the other places that our teams are coming from. And so I love to be able to train teams, 3, 4, 5 times over the course of several months, helping them with fundraising, helping them with questions. Obviously, if they're students, their parents have questions. If they're doctors, where are we going? What do we need to bring? All of those different questions, but building relationships with these people to help them understand that they are gifted. And yeah, they need to learn about culture and language. They need to learn about the gospel. They need to understand evangelism. They need to be able to have somebody put their arm around them and help them understand that life is greater than just where they are. But wow, it is incredible because it is all about what the Holy Spirit can do in a life. And so down below, you'll see sort of, I left the calendar up from this previous year. Of where I've gone and some of the different trips that I've been on. I'm going to attach some pictures and that kind of thing. And then I've started the calendar for next year, which starts in another couple of weeks when I go to the Dominican Republic for our January surgical and medical trip. So I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to do what I do. It is unbelievable. It fits me. God has continued to convey my giftedness to me, and just that I'm made to do the work that I'm doing. And I can't do it without you guys, whether it's financial gifts or whether it's prayer or both, or just asking me, how the work is doing and how God is growing the work and those kinds of things. This coming year with SCORE, we really want to buckle down and be strategic about, all right, so we've got short-term teams, and then we've got long-term missionaries. How do we continue to create connectedness between them? How do we have long-term missionaries dictating the needs on the ground based on a common vision, and then short-term teams coming up underneath them and being able to help encourage and resource them, so that our long-term missionaries can go a further afield and be able to saturate an island or a country or a region or a city, a town, a village with the gospel of Jesus. And so how do we get after that as an organization, both within our organization, but also there are other organizations that we can interdepend on to be able to use their giftedness to be able to reach the gospel into a whole domain of land, geography, or demography, whatever it happens to be. There's 10 million people in a place like the Dominican Republic. 5.5 million of those people live in Santo Domingo and its greater area of that city, and then 5 million of them live elsewhere in the country. How do we get after that? And so, yes, I absolutely am thrilled that God is giving our leadership team the understanding of what needs to happen with that, but also that Jeff Hackett and myself, some of the churches that we attend, some of the churches that you guys attend, are running after this goal of gospel saturation. How do we see that every person has the ability to choose Jesus or not? And that's what I love to think about. I love to think Western New York, because I was born and the Bills are in my blood, and yet I have a country in the Dominican Republic where I have brothers and sisters that I deeply love, and I don't have to pick. I can use the giftedness of my Western New Yorkers and Southern Ontarios and Northern Pennsylvania folks, and I can use them and train them to help evangelizing a country in the DR, and at the same time helping the folks that are my friends and neighbors in Buffalo understand their use and their giftedness to be able to be used in the domain of one of the most lost, unchurched areas in the country, which is Buffalo, according to Barna. In 2017, I think it's ranked number 10 for unchurched areas in the country. So there's tons and tons of work to be done, but I am so grateful that I work for SCORE International, that I get to take teams, that I get to disciple people, that I get to meet with them at Tim Hortons and also in villages like Pajarito, and be able to use the gifting that God has given me to connect the gospel together, to connect gospel people together, to do the work of the ministry so that God can get what He wants and that He wants to use us. So thank you so much for watching this video. See some of the photos and some of the pictures down below, and hopefully maybe a video or two, and you can look at the schedule if God lays it on your heart for a financial gift, or if you need to know about things to pray for. Feel free to get a hold of me. My email will also be there. I love you guys. Merry Christmas. I hope Christmas and New Year's are great. Safe travels to you, though they're on the road. I love you. I'm grateful, and I'm praying for those of you that need prayer, which is all of us. Merry Christmas. Bye.